Selamat sore, Prof. Nancy Peluso.
Ya, selamat sore, Pak.
Ya.
I think it's probably very different in many different places, and I think there are many different things that are happening in Indonesian policy and practice now. So it really depends on where we are, and maybe also on what has happened in that place over time, because of course the history of the forest and the history of the people is really important to what the relationship will be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think there's different things going on in different places. I think that's actually very new. I don't think anything like that could have happened when I was doing my doctoral research. It was very new, the whole idea of people being recognized for their contributions to the forest and even growing the forest.
Yeah.
So now I think things are going in a completely different direction than they were in the 1980s. Oh, yeah, totally. I definitely think they can do that. We were talking earlier, and I thought that we were talking about agroforestry.
Yeah.
Agroforestry, I think, is something that people all over Indonesia have done for hundreds. Well, a theory of access basically thinks about all of the social processes that might affect how people can get access to any particular resources. It can be a forest, it can be anything else really. And so there's many different ways that someone can control access to the forest. You can do it through markets, by setting prices in particular ways. You can do it by trying to make laws. Access is similar to, but different from property. Property rights are a kind of access. It's a legal kind of access. It's maybe a legal instrument, you can think of it. But sometimes the people who have the legal rights to the forest are not the ones who actually use it. And even that's true whether the people that have the access, that have the legal rights, are the government or the people beside it. It could be that the government takes over from people who thought they had rights to a forest that they planted, or it could be the government claims control over a forest because of its conservation value or something like that. So it's the thing about the theory of access, I think, is that it's very grounded in the circumstances that of any particular research site, any particular forest site. I think actually that one of my former students, Soraya Afif, who is now a professor in anthropology at UII, she's been very involved with Bu Siti and others in thinking about access, and in her own dissertation she talked about it. She does, I think forestry is sponsoring many different kinds of research projects that's basically what they're about. Who has access, who has control. And for myself right now I'm trying to do something that's more on the ways, the unintended ways and unexpected ways that migration affects land use change and property rights in forests and so on, forests and around concessions. So it's kind of a new angle for me, is to think about people who are going away to do work, send money back. Does that get invested in the forest? Does that get invested in other resources? It's another kind of means of access because they don't have capital before they go. They get some small capital when they go away.
Sure.
But in my opinion, actually, I think that some of the other land-based companies that are out there are more of a threat to the forest than the local people. Yeah, I think if some good arrangements can be made with local people, that's going to be good for the forest. And I think it's going to be good for the government, but I think the problem is not really the people or the foresters as much as these external companies and the kinds of changes that are taking place in the landscape at large. Well, maybe the role of the forester can change.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, at least in the United States, for the example in the United States, many forests in the United States, especially in California, where I live and work now,
Yeah.
many forests are privately owned
Okay.
by smallholders.
Smallholder. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And sometimes groups of smallholders.
Okay.
And they have different kinds of forests that they own. Some of them are for commercial purposes, and they manage for timber and other kinds of products. Sometimes they manage for ecotourism. Sometimes they manage for hunting or in-seasonal hunting and things like that.
Yeah.
But basically the role of the forester then becomes, especially government foresters in the
Yeah,
United States, the role of the forester becomes how can he help people be better at taking care of their forests,
Okay. Yeah.
and not how does he keep people out of the forest.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's
Interesting.
very impressive about what's been happening.
Teman-teman semua kepala balai dan tim Dirjen KSDAE di seluruh Indonesia, Profesor Nancy Peluso merupakan sosok yang sangat penting dalam kehutanan Indonesia karena di era tahun 80-an beliau melakukan banyak penelitian hubungan antara hutan dan masyarakat yang sangat terkenal, fenomenal bukunya itu Rich Forest Poor People. Saya tadi berdiskusi dan menyampaikan terima kasih atas pandangannya juga tentang kira-kira masa depan hutan Indonesia, hubungan antara hutan dan masyarakat seperti apa, dan direfleksikan tadi dalam hubungannya misalkan perkembangan kehutanan dan peran forester di Amerika yang sudah berubah. Tetap semangat dan sukses menjaga hutan bersama masyarakat.